What's up, everyone? Welcome back to When It's Game Day. Today is a special day. Today is game one of the NBA Finals. Today, I got JJ back on the show. Had to get him back on here after his team making it. Kind of risky on my part, but I'm gonna let him say whatever he has to say to me. I threw out some heat at his team last time, so
Like I said, hey, I told you guys, I'll be back. I'll be back in about 2 weeks to say I told you so. And now here
and
we
you
are.
are, and you are.
Here we are. Before we start anything, I want an apology from you. I want
An
an
apology,
admittance. I
an
want an
apology,
admittance of wrong. Yes, I'm
dude.
sorry
I've
for
been wrong in this
doubting.
show so many times. I just kind of own up to it at this point.
I'm sorry for doubting the
I'm sorry
mind
for
that
doubting your
is.
team, for doubting Luka Doncic, and not thinking that he could carry a team
That's all I
to the
wanted.
finals.
That's all I wanted to hear. That's all we were here for today.
Well, you're welcome. There you go. All right, let's get this started here. I got a few things written down for you. First off, um, what were your thoughts on how that series ended in the conference finals? Is that how you thought? To me, that was a really surprising way that series went. I didn't expect it to be that much of a dominant win for the Mavericks, but
It went pretty much everything that I said it would. Now that I expect it to be quote unquote dominant, I mean, while they were close games, it's just, it was the matchup. And
yeah,
with
that they
everything,
just dominated in the clutch. I feel like they had Kyrie and Luka. They just took over when they needed to, and the Timberwolves just couldn't really respond when they were doing that.
and I think that was one of the most underrated things coming into this playoffs about this Mavs team is that with Luka and Kyrie, especially, we were the number one clutch team in the NBA this year. If we
Oh,
weren't
really?
number one, we were like top three. And
Yeah,
it's just, I never had a doubt getting to this point. I always said that we need to make the conference finals or the season is a failure. Once we got there, it was just like the whole playoffs. I hadn't seen anything from any of the teams that we had played or were going to play schematically that worried me from like my coaching background and my coaching mindset as
yep,
just I haven't seen anything schematically that a team has done. When you go back to the Clippers series and they win game one, they shoot 54% from three.
yeah.
If that's what it's going to take to beat us, then you get that game. That's why
Yeah,
it's a
you
seven
you
game
you give
series.
that up if the team shoots over 50% from the field and you lose that game, and that's just something you give up.
100%. So it was the same thing. The Thunder. I mean, we missed free throws one game that cost us a game against the Thunder. It's just like that's on us. And it's
Yeah,
just I said all season long as the regular season winded down, I told everybody I know, and you can ask anybody that knows me, I want the Timberwolves. When we got
that's what you
locked
said
in at
last
the
time.
five seed, when we got locked in at the five seed, I wanted the Timberwolves to be the one seed because I was like, if the Timberwolves are the one seed, we're guaranteed to be in the conference finals, which was my goal for the season.
Yeah,
And then when we got them in the finals, in the conference finals, I was like, well, we're going to the finals. I've wanted this all postseason. This is all I wanted. I didn't want to play Denver, in all honesty. I was much more scared of Denver from a Mavs perspective than I was of the Timberwolves, and it's just because they couldn't guard the pick and roll. I knew Rudy Gobert was going to be a liability
and he was
at the end of the
exposed
day.
so bad in that series.
And he's been exposed his whole career.
Yeah,
That was the point I was saying. He is an elite rim protector, weak side, help side defender. He is not an elite on ball, all
yeah.
around type of defender. He's just not.
You get him outside the paint, he's gonna get exposed, and he did. So especially when you got guys like Kyrie and Luka that can handle the ball, and that's what they were doing all in that last in Game 5. They were just getting pick and rolls, and the Timberwolves weren't like double teaming them. Like Luka would get Gobert 1-on-1, and they weren't sending double teams. And I remember the announcers even saying like, "You got to double team this guy, get the ball out of his hands," because he was taking
Here's the
over.
hard part with that though. The way the Mavs do it, and I have a pretty sure I have an old tweet that says this too. They were able to do that to Jamal Murray, right? Like they were able to
Yeah,
go send two at him and get the ball out of his hands. The Mavs do such, and Jason Kidd does such a great job of when we do get into those ISO situations, cutting people to get it to where the double, which will typically come on the perimeter from one pass away, has to come from the guy guarding Kyrie Irving.
yeah,
And you can't do that. Like the Nuggets didn't have a dynamic player one pass away that could do what Kyrie could do. So now if you're going to send, if you look at the game winning shot in game two, Kyrie's the
yep,
one pass away. Everybody else is three passes away, stuck in the opposite corner. It's like, yeah, leave. Go double Luka from Kyrie. He's just going to swing it quick, and then you got the same issue.
Yep. Well, that's
So,
the thing with the double closers. It's just it's like the double two-headed dragon. It's like you can't. What do you want? Pick your poison.
absolutely. And you're going to see a lot of the same thing this series, I think,
Oh yeah,
unfortunately. I
yeah.
think it's going to be cooked.
I don't know what to expect this series if I'm being completely honest. Um, but staying with Luka and Kyrie here. So, what do you think? Who do you think the Celtics are more okay with leaving one-on-one, Kyrie or Luka?
I think you have to you have to go with Luka because I don't think no matter what you do, you're stopping Luka. At the end of the day, you are much better off blitzing Kyrie's ball screens. Now, if you want to send a double at Luka, he's so good at picking you apart. And again, what I
Yep.
said, Kyrie's typically going to be that one pass away
Mm-hmm.
that you're going to send it. Then you're going to get Kyrie attacking a closeout and attacking a scramble situation, which is nightmares for the defense. I think.
Well, even like last series, I feel like they were doubling. They doubled Kyrie a couple times, and he would just. I mean, he split it many times, and he's
Yeah,
so fast with the ball. It's just hard to double team him. So I mean, I feel like the
it's
better
like,
option is probably Luka, even though
but if you
it's
double
it's
Luka,
hard.
he's the better passer. And the
Yeah.
difference between doubling Luka and doubling Kyrie, like Kyrie, you're worried about him shifting you and splitting you, like you
Mm-hmm.
said. With Luka, not only are you worried about that, because Luka's proven in his career you can't speed him up. So
Yeah.
you're not going to speed
He
him
plays
up
at his
for
own
one.
speed. Yeah.
And at 6'8", he can see over the double team and
Yeah.
just pick you apart with his passing. So it's going to be a mix of coverages. They're only really ever doubled Kyrie when they blitz his ball screens and left two on the ball for a long time, which ended up being, like I said last time I was here, like whichever team gets the way the Mavs, depending on how they get two people on the ball, will determine how they win. And
Yeah.
it'll be a lot of the same issues. And coming into this series, I saw this stat about halfway through the second round. The Celtics, or right before the conference final started, I saw this stat. Out of the playoff teams, the Celtics have been the worst team in pick and roll defense.
This playoff.
Yes. And the Pacers were 15th. So before the conference final started, somebody said that, and I was just like, we just have to get there. Just get there, and we're going to play
Yeah.
two bad pick and roll defensive teams with two of the best pick and roll playmakers in the game. You're
Oh
frozen.
boy. Did I lose you?
Hey, Spence, I think I lost you.
See if it'll reconnect here. If not, we'll have to go solo, I guess, unless he can get reconnected here. See if he can maybe.
I'm with you. I can see
Oh, you got me
you're
here?
back.
Oh,
back.
sweet.
It's fuzzy, but you're back.
Yeah, I can't see you. I don't know what you got to do if you turn it on or off or something. I don't know.
How's that?
There we go. Now I got you now.
There we go.
All right. So what were you saying? Little pause in the action there.
Yeah, technical difficulties. What's the last part? Where were we before you cut out?
We were talking about just getting. What was it? Just we're talking about. God, what were we talking about? You said you were worried about just getting there, getting to the finals or something.
Oh, yeah. When I saw the stat going into the conference finals that the two teams left on the other side were 15th for the Pacers,
Oh,
and
yep.
16th for the Celtics in
The pick and roll defense. Yep.
I was like, just get there. If you
Yeah.
get there, good things will happen because that's our entire offense is just pick and roll with Luka and Kyrie.
Yep.
And so now that we're here, and the Celtics were 16th out of that, so I was just
Yeah.
salivating at the mouth when I saw that stat. I was like, we just
I don't know.
have to get there.
Yeah, I just don't know how you can take the Celtics like heavily in this matchup just because of how or who they've played so far in these playoffs. They've played all week banged up teams, and you just don't know if they're going to be able to perform against a good, solid team like the Mavericks. And they have just the lob game. They got the shooters. They got the pick and roll. It's just I mean, the Celtics are good. Don't get me wrong,
Oh
but
yeah, they're a
they just
really good
haven't
team.
had the the opponents yet to really show for it. I mean, they struggled to win games against a Pacers team that didn't even have Tyrese Halliburton. So it's like that's my only concern with the Celtics right now. So I don't know.
I think one of my biggest things is like coming in is one is disrespectful the odds that Vegas gave. I mean, but if you look at the preseason, nobody picked the Mavs to make the playoffs. Two out of the quote
Yeah,
unquote experts. And so, but the fact that the spread tonight is 6.5 when they barely beat the Pacers by 6 points several times is just
the
disrespectful. And
Celtics are
that's
favored by 6 points.
6.5 tonight. Yep.
Holy crap!
And that's way too many. I think it's going to
Yeah,
be a great series. I again have the Mavs in 6, as I thought before. I fully expect to lose this game, and we can get into why later. But I just
well, it's probably the same thing as last time. You said that you guys lose game ones and then you end up winning the
yes,
series anyway.
yeah. One, we're bad at game one. We've won one
Yep.
game one in Jason Kidd's tenure. Two, the Celtics are
Which
gonna
came in the last series.
yeah, literally just happened. But the Celtics are going to have 2 games where they shoot unreal from
Oh
three.
yeah,
They're going to make
easily. Yeah,
18.
Al Horford's gonna have like 5 threes. Drew
Yeah.
Holiday's gonna have 4 or 5 threes. It's just gonna happen. Or Derek White.
And you're just going to have to, you got to take that loss. And I think they'll have 2 games like that. I think
Yeah,
that'll be game 1 and probably game 5.
yeah. Closeout games maybe I could maybe see the Celtics playing like that. Just I don't know. But I mean, the Mavericks play the same way. Like you get, I mean, uh, who's your forward, Junior?
You
Derek
got
Jones
PJ
Jr.
Washington and Derek Jones.
Yeah, there's some games I was looking at his stats earlier. There are some games where he makes like 3, 4 threes a game. That's someone that I wouldn't even like
Those are rare. Yeah, those are
think
rare. But
to make threes.
when he makes them, good things. That's a good
Oh
thing.
yeah,
When
that's
he's making threes were impossible to beat. If he's gonna knock down, because they're gonna dork. He'll be the one they leave this game too.
yep.
Like they'll try to hide Horford on him, this and that, so Horford doesn't get in the pick and rolls as much. Porzingis could be on him and let because we don't have bigs that we post ISO. Like we're not gonna
Hmm.
throw the ball into Derek Lively and say go to work.
Yeah,
He's
no,
gonna
he's
come
more
up
like
and
throw it up at the rim and have him catch it and throw it down.
it's more of a come up, come set the ball screen, catch lobs,
Yeah.
catching the short roll, this and that, to where they can put a smaller guy on Daniel Gafford and Derek Lively for that reason and try to hide Porzingis and Horford on Derek Jones. But
Yeah.
you're just going to see Derek Jones setting a lot of screens at that point because he can fly too, and you just throw it up to the rim and let him
Yeah,
get
just
it.
throw it up there and have him go get it exactly. But what was I was just thinking of something. You mentioned Porzingis. How do you think?
Yes.
I don't know. He's been out for 10 games, and I don't know what his minutes are going to look like. Do you think he's going to be restricted a lot? And do you think he's going to have a really? Do you think the team like the Celtics are going to change after him coming back?
I think he, especially in a game one, I mean, you know how it is. You come back from an injury, this and that.
Especially in the finals, though, you come back and you're in the finals. That's different.
Yeah, I think that's a different mental strain. But that first game back, I could see this game being his best game of the series because nobody has any expectations. Your first game back from sickness,
Yep.
your first game back from an injury, you're completely free. It's after that, it's just like, oh, well, I'm supposed to be doing this now. Now you start getting tight. You start mentally having to think about things where
Yeah.
this will be the freest he'll probably play, but also going from one, Porzingis doesn't have a lot of playoff experience in general.
Yep. Nope.
And not playing since the first round, and then the team that you played in the first round was an injured Miami Heat team, and you
Yep.
got hurt, and now you're going to play the hottest team in the NBA since the trade deadline in the Mavericks. It's going to be quite the adjustment. That being said, I would say this will probably be the best game in the series for Porzingis.
I'm curious to see if they have him in the starting lineup tonight or not. Or if
It
he's going to
hasn't-
play like 20, 30 minutes tonight, or if he's going to be restricted. Or
It hasn't been announced. All that's been announced is that he's playing. So my guess
Yeah.
is he'll come off the bench. Here's where I think us going to that game 5 honestly helped the Mavericks is Maxey got to play in 2 games. Maxey got to get some of the rust out.
Yep.
And then he got 6 days off. He's like, okay, now I remember what it's like to be in a playoff basketball game. Now let me use these 6 days, get my rest, this and that. So Maxey's ready to go. And Maxey's going to be a huge for us just matchup-wise in this series.
oh, and size too. I feel like you need the size against Horford. I mean, how Horford can bang inside. I mean, I don't know. Al Horford, he's a veteran. He's old, but he's a solid center for the Celtics. He's never like he's not a a liability on the floor. Like he's going to hurt you. He's either in the corner, in the post. I mean, you got to have a big guy on him. I don't know if like
You'll
Derek
change your tune
Jones.
about that this series.
I don't know
He's
if Derek
going.
Jones Jr.
He
can
is
take him
going to
one-on-one in
be.
the paint.
He is going to be a complete liability these series, and the Celtics aren't going to post him up. They don't do that. If you watch this last couple seasons, they don't really do that with him anymore. Missoula especially. He sits in the corner and stretches the floor, and it's going to piss me off when he makes 5 corner threes. Like,
Yeah.
it's going to be frustrating when
Him and that slow shot. It's like I remember watching him.
How they're going to use him.
Yeah, that's what they do. They drive in and then he just kicks out into the corner, and then it's just all he does is kick corner threes.
He's going to be an absolute liability on the defensive end, and it's going to be just get out of the way.
They're going to do the same thing they did with Gobert, you think?
Yeah, it'll look tenfold worse.
Yeah.
Gobert's better than Al Horford at this stage in their career,
Yeah.
depending on the perimeter. Now, don't get me wrong, Al Horford used to be a dog a little bit on the defensive end, but
he's had some pretty sick blocks this playoff though. I could see him getting a few like chase down blocks like LeBron style. I've seen him so far. I've seen him. It's happened this playoffs, man. I've seen him.
Absolutely.
He can still get up, man. His dad's going to be courtside. He always plays good when his dad's courtside. That's one thing I have noticed.
I hope so.
But so we were talking. So I've been seeing this theme occurring over and over again with this series that players have been like former players on their, or how am I supposed to word this here? So players playing their former team in the playoffs or like in the finals, because you got like Kyrie used to play for the Celtics, and Porzingis used to play for the Mavs. So which player, like, what do you think will have like the most revenge like on their mind? Yeah, I think definitely Kyrie. I feel like he's gonna get hated in Boston. It's going to be cinema.
Toxic. This is
going to be so
toxic
cinema
environment for Kyrie. But the mature Kyrie we've seen this season, I'm not worried about him like
doing what he did,
imploding. Right? Like,
yeah.
He's not going to implode. He's not going to flip off the crowd.
Yeah.
None of that's going to happen.
I've seen those clips so many times recently. I'm like, oh geez, there's no way that he does it again. But that'd be funny if he did.
And I needed somebody to Photoshop him in a Mavs jersey so I could post it after the finals.
Or it just happens. He does it in the closing game.
He just does it. Yeah, that'd be hilarious.
Yeah, that'd be funny if he read. I could see him actually doing it just in like a closeout game.
But I think Kyrie, obviously, if I think the Mavs are going to win, Kyrie has to have the biggest revenge and be the most impactful in this series.
Yeah.
And I think he will.
He's been playing really well.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's back to being Kyrie and playing basketball and keeping the main thing, and just hooping and being the player that everybody loved to watch.
Mm-hmm. Back in 2016 when he was on the Cavs, he looks just like that guy again.
Absolutely.
I love to see it, but I hate to see it. Yep. Hate to see it, but I love to see it. Love Kyrie, but I wish he was still in the Cavs. But I mean, not much I can do nowadays. I gotta quit reminiscing from the past. That's what I do pretty much a lot these days. But
you just use this as like a soaking point.
Yep.
For you.
Yep. I wear a lot of old stuff, so
I fully predict that at some point in this series, Kyrie will have a 40-point game. I think
40
will have multiple. Yeah, I think Kyrie will have one, and Luka will probably have multiple.
Really?
At least 2.
Has he had any of these playoffs so far? Maybe at least 1 or 2?
Luka has not had a 40-point game this
He hasn't?
Yet, but he's had one in every playoffs he's ever been in.
And you think he's going to have like more than one this series?
I'd say he'd have 2. If I could bet on him having 1 plus more 40-point games this series, I would.
Dang. Not having any.
You don't know.
I mean, game 1 always. I feel like game 1's always. There's always one big scorer in the finals. I guess I could be just spitting shit out of my mouth, but I feel like when I watch, there's always one player that goes off in game 1.
You're just still hanging on to LeBron dropping 56 in 2018 and losing.
Yep.
You're just still hanging on to that one.
Yeah, that was tough. That was really, really tough. The Cavs easily should have won that game, but J.R. Smith had to. I don't know what he was on that night, but
he just forgot.
All right, so what are like keys for the Mavericks to win? Obviously, get Horford out and pick and rolls one-on-one against Luka, but what else do you think the Mavs should do if they really want to take advantage of this Celtics team?
The key for this series is going to be Luka and Kyrie are going to be Luka and Kyrie. I'm interested to see how the matchup.
The supporting cast.
Be. But yeah, the supporting cast is going to have to make shots because of how well this Celtics team shoots it. But the biggest thing is going to be winning the rebounding battle, which we did against Minnesota, a better rebounding team. But the weak side. Luka has to box out this series. PJ Washington can't get caught standing. I'm not worried about Derek Lively and Gafford and Maxey and Derek Jones. They're going to rebound. But PJ is going to be huge on both ends. And
yeah, the Celtics crashed the boards.
If we win the glass, I think it'll be a wrap. It'll be quick.
Get out in transition. I mean, I don't know. Celtics are a pretty good defensive team though, so it's not like I don't think you can really get out and transition against them or like really.
They do turn the ball over a lot in the fourth quarter though.
Yeah,
they do, which is why a lot of those Indiana games end up being close. They have some key turnovers. You can't do that against the Mavs.
Luka, they got to clean that up. I mean,
give Luka and Kyrie extra possessions.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure the Celtics were pretty good during the regular season with turnover wise. Like they didn't turn the ball over. Like they were one of the top teams in the league with ball security. And then I feel like the last series, like you said, they turned the ball over a lot against the Pacers, and I feel like that's what kept them in it. The Pacers.
Absolutely. And so it'll just be, like I said, the role players making threes and winning the rebounding battle will be the biggest thing for the Mavs.
What do you think for the Celtics then?
I think for the Celtics, just staying composed, not having those atomic bomb turnovers.
Letting Luka go off for 15 straight points like the Timberwolves did in Game 5.
I don't know. You can't always stop.
There's nothing you could do about that. Like, I was watching
you're
that.
You're going to stop him.
When that was happening, I was like, "What in the hell is going on?" Because he was just shooting whatever he wanted, and he was making everything. And then when I texted you, I was like, "What? This guy is on crack or something." He's just. I haven't seen anything like that in a while. Probably. Since Curry back in like 2016 or whatever, when he was just winning MVPs like it was nothing. But
it'll be the hard part for the Celtics is going to be. I don't think you can put Derek. I know you can't put Derek White on him. You can't put Drew Holiday on him either, though. Luka.
You don't think so?
No, they're both too small. They tried that with. I
guess
it didn't work.
Yeah, that's true.
So Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown, one of them that's why I'm so curious on the matchups. One of them has to be on Luka, which is liable. One, it's going to take away from their offense. Two, foul trouble.
Yeah,
just seeing how
he's good at drawing fouls. Yeah.
I feel
like they're going to have to put Jason Tatum on just because of his length and his ability to be able to contest Luka's shots. Because I feel like Jaylen Brown's too small still too.
Yeah, and so, but what are you valuing, right?
Yeah.
Like, you put Jason Tatum on him, his offense is going to suffer, and he's already not shooting well this play.
He's going to be dead tired the whole game because you have to guard Luka. Yeah.
I mean, look what happened. Ant wanted to guard Kyrie, and he looked exhausted in the fourth quarter. It's just going to be. It's good. Luka's a nightmare matchup. You're almost better off just saying, "Hey, Luka's going to score 50," and
just make sure no one else can score. Yeah,
got to try to limit. Everybody else.
I'm pretty sure they said that in the Minnesota series that you just got to let Luka do his thing. You just can't let everyone else get hot too and like feed off of that energy because he tends to do that.
And the hard part about that is though, you can't really stop Kyrie either. Though.
Yeah.
It's different if you're trying to start a Michael Porter or an Aaron Gordon or an Obi Toppin or something like that. This is Kyrie Irving on the other side. It's just
one of the best, probably the best ball handler in the league.
Maybe in the history.
In the history of the league, I could say that too. I mean, up there with Iverson.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so, if I was the Mavs here for this game one, especially game one's kind of the fill-out game.
Yep.
I would literally switch everything because what the Celtics are really good at, especially in the half court, is defeating you with the pass. Getting you
they move the ball well. Yep.
They spread the floor so much to where if I was the Mavs, I think this game one, I would switch everything. Absolutely everything. Say, all right, Jason Tatum, you're going to take Luka one-on-one. Luka, don't foul.
Yeah.
And make them be a one-on-one team because I don't think it's what they want to do. And
that's not what they do.
Brown, they've been proven that they will take tough twos if you let them. They will take tough shots, and they're gonna make some. They're good. They're great players, but that would be my strategy. I'd say let's just switch everything game one. Let's play one-on-one the whole game. We'll adjust from there.
Do you think it's more valuable to shut down Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum? Like if you let one or the other get hot, who would you rather have? And I guess why?
I think I'd rather let Jason Tatum go off. To me, he hasn't proven that that's who he wants to be.
Yeah, he hasn't been that this playoffs yet. Yeah.
You can argue that Jaylen Brown wants to be the guy that
Mm-hmm.
goes off on you more than Jason Tatum wants to be. Jason Tatum wants to be that all around player, kind of like LeBron is.
Yeah.
And it's just so if you force him to be the scorer, it's kind of like when the Mavs played the Suns 2 years ago, and when when we knocked him out in the semifinals, it was the whole strategy was make Booker become the playmaker, make Chris Paul be the scorer because he didn't want to be the scorer.
Yeah,
Chris
he's
Paul
always
wanted to
playmaker.
dish
Yeah.
and set everybody else up and that's how the Mavs won that series. And I think now Jason Tatum though can score 50, like we all know it. But
Oh
I
yeah.
don't think it's what he wants to do. So if I had to choose between the two, I'd make Tatum. Say hey, and Tatum also takes more bad shots.
Oh yeah. If he scores 50, he's gonna be taking like at least 20, 30 shots a game easily.
I think for him to score 50, it'll be over 30 at the rate he's been shooting it.
Yeah. He has
But
been
he's
shooting
also
it
liable to
very
stop.
good. Yeah. Yeah.
He's one that's liable to stop. Say, hey, they want me to do this, but I've missed 5 in a row. I'm not going to shoot another one.
Yeah. He'll pass it up.
So that would be my answer to that.
Yeah, I would have to agree. I don't think just your same thing. Like I haven't seen a lot from Jason Tatum these playoffs. I mean, he hasn't really shown that he's a real like. We've already talked about this. He hasn't really shown that he's a real like superstar and that he can show that he wants to be the superstar of the team, that he wants to be on this team. I mean, he's had some good games. He's put up probably 24, 25 a game, but it's a quiet 24, 25 a game. It just doesn't seem like he really takes over when the star players really need to. I feel like it's been more Jaylen Brown or even Drew Holiday at times. I feel like Drew Holiday's been clutch these playoffs, especially the last series. Yeah.
He's had some clutch moments for sure. I think it's going to be one heck of a series, though. I really do.
All right, one more thing, and then we'll get to our predictions about what we think how the series is going to go. One last thing. So if the Celtics do not win these finals, do you think it is time to break up the Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and if so, who do they get rid of?
You keep Tatum. Tatum's a top 10 player in the NBA, no matter what. If you are going to break them up, but I don't think you do. They're 26, 27 years old still. It's just they got to get themselves a better big. Al Horford needs to retire. Like if they don't win this final, the Al Horford experiment's over. Like, hey, Al, It was great. We appreciate you. You helped build a culture here. We are forever grateful. You're 38 years old. You cannot guard a high schooler anymore. It's time for you to be done. And they need a rim protector. I think
like a Rudy Gobert. Trade rumor. There you go. That's who they need to go at. That's who they need to go at. Rudy Gobert. Then they can win the title.
Like they would have to change their they'd have to change their offense for that. But they need a better rim protecting big that can bang a little bit. And it's just continuing to plug and play. It's not their fault the East is weak at the end of the day. Like it's hard.
But you look at all these Celtics teams that they've had, and I feel like every year they have a really, really solid team. And I feel like me and Keaton talked about this before. It's like we compared them to the Cowboys in the NFL. That's who the Celtics are in the NBA. They're just the Dallas Cowboys. They have a really good team every year. They make the playoffs, but they're not able to produce when it matters. And I just don't think that if they don't produce, then you got to start making changes. And I feel like
I would challenge that. They are as a current comparison, they are the San Francisco 49ers. They get to the conference finals. They get to the Super Bowl. They just can't get over the hump and win it.
Yeah. That's a good comparison too, yeah.
They've been to 2 finals now, and it's just they have to continue to plug and play. But now that you've paid Jaylen Brown, you have to pay Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum's the better player. If they lose this, it'll be Jason Tatum needs to search deep inside himself and say, hey, am I really a top 5 player in the NBA, or am I just top 8, top 7? And they need to –
yeah.
If that's the case, I would try to move Jaylen Brown for a number 1.
For a number 1 pick?
Not for a number 1 pick, for a number 1 option. Do you
get a yeah. He could definitely be a number 1, or he could easily be a number 1 on some teams.
It's just, who is that? I think when
trying to think of teams.
When the Celtics didn't go all in for Kevin Durant, anytime Kevin Durant wanted to leave, especially when Kevin Durant wanted to leave, if the Celtics would have got KD when he left the Thunder and he didn't go to the Warriors, I think they would have won a title, at least one. I know they would have won one.
Yeah.
Probably would have won 2 titles.
Well, the core that they had was great at the time, and then just adding. I mean, they need a star. They need like a score that wants to be that guy on the team, and I feel like he definitely would have been the guy for the team.
I mean, you think that's right. That timeline, Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, one are on rookie deals. And you're able to have Kevin Durant be your max. Now, that's not their fault. Kevin Durant chose the Warriors. He was a free agent. And when Kevin Durant wanted to go to Brooklyn, I get all that. But them not being able to convince themselves to get Kevin Durant, I feel like is going to be, when I look back on it, I think of that as their tipping point. To where you just rolled with these young guys, and at the end of the day, Jason Tatum would be the best number 2 option in the NBA.
Yeah.
If they don't win this title. Now, this all changes if they win a title this year. But
they win, then, yeah, we're completely changing our what we're saying here, yeah.
I just think that it's just how it is at the end of the day. I think Jason Tatum will never be more than the 7th best player in the NBA. And that's part of the reason why I think the Mavs will win, is when I'm not going to not rock with the best player. Especially when I think the Celtics are overrated.
Oh, yeah, me too. I 100% agree with that too. Just, I mean, again, with the path that they took, I mean, and then you look at the path that the Mavericks went on. They beat a lot of solid teams, and like the Thunder and especially the Timberwolves. I mean, they've shown that they can beat good teams in dominant fashion. I mean, the Celtics. I mean, yeah, they swept the Pacers, but it's like, wait, no, they didn't. Did they sweep? They swept the Pacers, didn't they? Yeah. But like, you look at those. You look at those games, and all of them were close, and the Pacers weren't healthy for majority of that series.
That's part of my my whole ordeal. And like, they're still in the finals. You gotta be a little lucky to win a championship. I truly believe that. It's just I'm pretty sure in the history of the NBA, every team that's beaten 3 50-win teams to get to the finals have won the championship, except the 2008 Lakers, who lost to the Celtics.
Yeah, I did see that. So I mean, the stats are adding up, and the Mavericks should win this series on paper. I feel like the Mavericks actually no, I take that back. On paper, I feel like the Celtics are the better team. But right now,
they won 64 games. Technically, they're deeper. They have 6
the number
starters.
1 seed. Yep.
They're the number 1
on
seed
paper.
in the NBA,
The Celtics are the better team.
That.
But I feel like right
now,
though,
we've been the best team in the NBA.
Yep.
And I think that's going to continue. I think it'll go 6, but if the Mavs 1 and 5, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, especially after the last series. I mean, everyone was surprised at how that series went. I mean, I could see it going in 5.
Nobody picked the Mavs to make the playoffs, Spencer. Nobody thought. Now everybody wants to pick the Mavs to win the title, and I'm like, no, you weren't on this side. Don't come to this side now. You better stay over there. The Celtics have been one of the favorites all year.
I was watching SportsCenter earlier, and they were saying how like 65 or 70% of the bettors are placing their bets on Dallas to win, and then this guy was saying how they should be picking the Celtics. I was like, I just don't know who I would. Obviously, I think the Celtics are not Celtics. The Mavericks. Right now, I got to go with the Mavericks. I don't know if you're going to allow me to take that side though. Right now,
I don't know if I'm allowed. I don't know if you're allowed to switch up. You just need to sit back and watch. You don't get to pick.
Oh, come on! I can't pick a team. I kind of have to pick a team.
It's just, if we lose, I'm blaming Drake though. Drake just put $500,000 on the Mavs to win.
Oh my god!
So if we lose, I'm blaming Drake.
Holy crap! When did you do that? Like
this morning.
This morning?
I saw it on social media this morning. He did his little betting post. Jesus. He put $500,000 on the Mavs to win, and then the Edmonton Oilers to win the Stanley Cup.
Damn, $500,000. That's no pressure on the Mavericks there. I mean, I think that they're gonna. I mean, if they lose the series, I would be very, very surprised. I say a lot of shit on this show, and it really just comes back and smacks me in the face. So we'll see.
You're about to be right once.
I'm gonna pick
be right once.
It's got to be at some point. I got a 50-50 shot here for the title. I don't know. I don't like the Celtics. I mean, they're a good team, but their road to where they are now has not impressed me at all. That's why I'm going to go with the Mavericks, and they've beaten some really, really good teams. Like you said, if it goes 5 games, I could see it going 5 games, but I don't think I'd be very, very surprised if it went 5 games, but I could see it happening. I'm going to take Mavericks in 6, like you said, maybe 7, at least 6 games. I have to go with your team. Whether you want me to, whether you allow me to or not, I'm going to
Hey,
do
you're a
it
grown
anyway.
man.
But
You're a grown man. You can do what you want. I'm just
yeah,
welcome to the good side.
the good side. I'd say
Welcome
more
to
of
the
the
good side.
I don't know. But so those are our predictions. JJ, thanks for coming on. It's always a pleasure.
Always. I appreciate it.
I don't know if you want to come back on after to see how this goes.
If we win, not if.
If you win,
I'll come on no matter what. Win or
I'll say
lose,
yeah, you're
but
coming on no matter what.
When we win, I'll be back again. Why not?
You'll be back.
Maybe I'll pop some champagne or something like that.
You'll be back for sure. You'll be back.
Have a little parade.
Oh yeah,
Have a little parade.
Have our own little parade. Not for me. I'm not going to celebrate nothing, but you can have some champagne and celebrate your one title.
It'll be my second title.
Second title?
We won in 2011.
Oh yeah, I forget about that.
Yeah, you guys don't know what that's like. That's okay though.
That was a long time ago. I was a little boy then.
Could argue you were a little boy on that shirt you're wearing too.
Not really. No, that was only 8 years ago.
It was 8 years ago. Still,
I was like 14.
you don't even remember it probably.
Yes, I do. That's like the biggest moment in my sports history. I remember watching that thing on my big screen, or not even my big screen. We had like a projector. I watched it on like a movie screen. Dude, it was sick. I have videos of them hoisting the trophy on my phone, dude. Yep. That's the only title any of my teams have won. Any title.
So it's the only one you're getting for a while too.
I don't know. Watch out for Oregon, man. They can win the Natty this year.
Won't happen.
You don't think so?
Won't happen.
Whatever. You and your Texas. You think Texas is going to win it?
Oh, absolutely. I bet on them to win this Natty back in January.
Oh my God. All right, man.
We can talk some college football later on too.
Oh yeah, once that comes around, we'll definitely talk about it. But all right, JJ, thanks for coming on. Thanks for tuning into this episode. We'll see you next time. Peace.
Later.